guys, welcome back and welcome to day 3 of my 5 days of foundation. Today the foundation in question is going to be the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir Foundation. I have a very great track record with Covergirl foundations. They are hands down my favorite at the drugstore, and from the description this sounds like something I'm going to love, so I definitely have very high hopes for this one. Before we jump in, if you are enjoying this foundation series this week, be sure to give it a thumbs up and also comment down below so I know, and subscribe and turn on your post notifications because I do still have 2 more foundation reviews coming up this week. So I already applied a little bit of the Smashbox Radiance Primer. Obviously this gives a little bit of a glow, but it is very subtle, and I am going to be using the shade 610 Classic Ivory. And as per usual, I am going to be applying one half of my face with my L'Oreal sponge and the other half with a flat top brush. Finally, if you are new to my channel, my skin is very oily and very sensitive as well. I am looking to cover up my redness mostly, which I feel like I am particularly red today. I don't know why, that's just kind of how my skin is. But let's go ahead and start applying this bad boy. The Covergirl Vitalist Elixir Foundation retails for about $12 to $14 and contains 30 ml of product. It's available in 14 shades and is described as makeup with skincare benefits that will give you full coverage with a healthy glow. It's meant to feel lightweight and minimize the look of oily shine. It's also oil-free, formulated with an antioxidant vitamin complex, and has an SPF of 20. Alright, so now that we've gone through the application process, let's start off by addressing the shade. As I'm sure you guys saw, it's quite orange. Even just to start off, it had kind of a peachy, orangey undertone to it, and then it did oxidize slightly. One thing to always keep in mind, oxidization is personal. Just because something oxidizes on me, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to oxidize on you too. That being said, after completing my makeup, I don't think it looks too bad. My face just looks like very bronzy in comparison to my chest, but we are just going to roll with it. Another thing that I do feel I need to mention is that this foundation does have a fragrance. Now this is not listed on the ingredients online, but it is on the back of the bottle, so I don't know what's up with that, but that kind of surprised me, and I'm not super happy about that because in my experience Covergirl foundations are always fragrance free. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's always like a claim on the other ones I've tried. And I can still smell it a little bit, so it is lingering, but so far no like irritation or anything. In terms of application, I got pretty similar results from both the sponge and the brush. Something I find with more like luminous foundations is that a sponge will tend to give it a little bit more of a matte finish, and the brush will be a little bit more luminous since this does absorb some of the liquid. But the finish on both sides of my face I found to be pretty much identical. So far though, I am really liking the finish of this foundation. It's definitely right on par with what I look for. Glowy, but not like overly luminous and like dewy and wet looking. It just gives a really nice amount of glow. The brush also did give me slightly more full coverage in comparison to the sponge. You guys will see in my footage, I went back over this side and added like a light second layer just to kind of even things out. But other than that, really similar results with both application techniques. And I would agree with their claims that the coverage is like a buildable to a fuller coverage kind of effect. I wouldn't consider it like a hardcore full coverage, but like a fuller medium, but you can build it up, if that makes sense. As for how my products applied over top of it, my concealer went on really patchy. I really had to work to blend it out. In the end, it turned out okay, but I'm a little bit iffy on that. I use my NYX HD concealer, which I've been using for over a year. I've used it with literally every other foundation I've tried, and I've never actually experienced that with this product in the past. I do really appreciate the fact that even after powdering my face, my foundation does still have a bit of a glow. Having oily skin but not wanting a matte finish, that's a very hard balance to strike, so I really appreciate a foundation that can give me that. There is also a couple spots where my highlighter did apply a little bit funky, like I don't know if you guys can see in here, and there's this one spot on my forehead where it just really seemed to stick onto that patch for some reason. I have no idea why. So that makes me a little bit concerned for how this foundation is going to perform with other products. And before we wrap things up for the moment, I just want to talk a little bit about the general appearance of the foundation. So from a little bit of a distance like this, I think it does look really pretty on my skin. But when it comes to looking at the foundation up close, I don't think it's the best for texture. Of course, any kind of issues with texture can be fixed with like pore filling primer and things of that nature. But yeah, I've done quite a bit of talking. I think that's where I'm going to leave this video for now, but of course I will be checking in 2 more times throughout the day. This foundation is unfortunately not holding up very well so far, and we're only a little over halfway through the day. I'm going to start off by zooming you guys in super close so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So as you guys can see in my upper lip area, this foundation has already started to severely break up and get patchy, as well as kind of right in these areas here. It almost looks like I was wearing sunglasses or glasses, like when your foundation wears off, but I have not put on glasses today. I know this isn't pretty, but I know you guys really appreciate seeing these like super close up views on my skin. Ooh, and I just noticed in here it is not doing well. So yeah, really not faring well in the areas where I do get very oily, and all of these signs of wear kind of popped up around the 4-hour mark, so it really didn't take long for it to start breaking down like this. I will be completely honest, this around my eye area here was my fault. I filmed my BOXYCHARM unboxing after this first impressions, and I got a makeup brush and I was just like kind of swirling it around on my face and feeling it and everything, because that's what you do when you get a new makeup brush, let's be real. So that's why it's worn off in this area. I did not touch it to this area at all though, and even then, you should be able to swipe a makeup brush around your face lightly and not have it remove your foundation. This is the brush here. It's very like light and wispy, and I was just showing in the video that I would like use this to lightly dust setting powder under my eyes. That should not remove foundation and do what it did. With that being said, I already edited my BOXYCHARM video, and I think the foundation looks beautiful on my skin in that video. Like, it looks so glowy and radiant, and once again the shade really didn't end up being too bad. It looks stunning, honestly. Like, I'm in love with how it looks on camera, so I'm pretty bummed out that it is having these kind of issues, but that's going to be it for this check-in. I will talk to you guys at the end of the day. So it is the end of the day now, as you can tell. I don't know why my face looks so much more drastically yellow than my chest in the viewfinder. It does not look that bad in person, so just excuse that. I look like I've got a nice lovely mustache going on from all that foundation separation on my upper lip. That kind of wear has pretty much stayed the same. The only other main difference is that it has completely worn off of my hairline. I don't think you guys will be able to see that, which is odd. I can understand if I was like putting my hair up in a ponytail and my hands were touching that area of my face, but like my hair has been down all day, so I have no idea why it completely wore off in that area. And I don't know if you guys can see, but over the course of the day, I've developed a tiny little breakout there, which yes, I do still get like tiny little breakouts and blemishes like this occasionally, even though I did take Accutane. They just go away really quickly. But regardless, that's got me a little bit nervous. And aside from that, I do just look very all over shiny because I am quite oily. It's just really weird. This foundation just seems to wear off my skin so easily. Like, it does not want to stick to my skin. I want to try it more and like really try to make it work. Once again, I've started rating foundations out of 10 at the end of these videos. Honestly, if I was rating it at like the beginning of the day when I had first applied it, just based on looks, problems that I had with it aside, I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10 because I really like the finish on my skin. Like, the finish, I feel like I like even a little bit better than the Ready Set Gorgeous, which is one of my favorite foundations, but definitely my favorite from Covergirl. I love that foundation. It has more of a natural finish though, and this is like a little bit more on the glowy side. I really loved how it looked, and once again, it looked so beautiful in the video I filmed earlier. I'm not trying to sound cocky or anything saying that, because it's not me, it's the foundation that looked good. But now at this point, it really doesn't look good. It looks like a greasy foundation just like sitting on my skin and being patchy, basically. Like, right now I would give it like a 5 out of 10, and that's being generous, and that pains me to say because it did look so nice earlier, I think. I'm just gonna get one more close up in here for good measure. See if you guys can see how it's like worn off on my hairline. it's just like gone in this area. I don't know why. And as you can see, my skin looks fairly textured with it on. I don't know. I am extremely curious if you have tried this foundation, especially if you have oily skin. Please share your thoughts down below and your experience in anything. And if it worked for you with oily skin, let me know what you used it with for primer and powder and everything. I do think I will try this foundation again, probably on days when I know I'm not gonna have my makeup on for very long. The verdict is still kind of out on this one. I will update you guys on Snapchat, and of course I will eventually do a first impressions update video like I always do after I've tried out these foundations for a little bit longer. But I think that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did find this helpful. Go follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at SarahRihanna on all three. And hit that subscribe button down below if you are new here, but I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye guys.